Lilith, 2025. The forbidden truth that shocked the whole world. Prologue, the hidden chapter. In the year 2025, archaeologists discovered ancient texts buried beneath the sands of Mesopotamia. What they found would shake the foundations of everything humanity believed about creation. This is the story that was hidden for over 6,000 years. The story of Lilith, the first woman who dared to say no to God himself. Chapter 1. Before Eve, minutes 1 to 2. Before the gardens bloomed, before the rivers flowed in 4 directions, before Adam drew his first breath, there was silence. But in that silence, the Almighty spoke a word that would echo through eternity. "Let us make woman," said the voice that commanded galaxies into existence. And from the same red clay that would later form Adam, from the same dust of the earth, God shaped her. But this woman was different. While Adam would be formed to tend the garden, she was formed to rule alongside the divine. Her name was Lilith, meaning night creature or storm goddess in the ancient tongue. When the breath of life filled her lungs, her eyes opened not in wonder but in recognition. She looked upon the face of her creator and said, "I know you." For Lilith was not merely created, she was awakened. She possessed knowledge that predated her physical form, wisdom that came from the very foundations of creation. God looked upon his handiwork and saw that it was not just good, it was dangerous. Here stood a being with the potential to be his equal, formed from the same divine spark that ignited the stars. And for the first time since creation began, the Almighty felt something he had never experienced: uncertainty. Chapter 2. The First Rebellion, minutes 3 to 4. In the garden that existed before Eden, Lilith walked with authority. Every creature bowed to her presence. The lions lay down at her feet, the eagles descended from their heights to perch upon her shoulders, and the very trees bent their branches to offer her their fruit. But there was one who would not bow. Adam, formed later from the ribs of the earth, awakened to find Lilith ruling the paradise he believed was meant for him alone. God had commanded him to name the animals, to tend the garden, to be fruitful and multiply. But how could he fulfill this destiny when another already claimed dominion? "You will be my companion," Adam declared, his voice echoing with the authority he believed God had given him. "You will walk beside me, not ahead of me." Lilith's laughter shook the heavens. "I am formed from the same clay as you, breathed into by the same God. By what right do you claim superiority?" "By the right of being man," Adam replied. "For woman was made for man, not man for woman." "Then you know nothing of your own creation," Lilith said, her eyes blazing with divine fire. "I was made for no one but myself." And in that moment, the first theological war began. Not between good and evil, but between equality and subjugation, between freedom and control. Chapter 3. The Divine Confrontation, minutes 5 to 6. The argument between Adam and Lilith raged for 7 days and 7 nights. Their voices shook the foundations of paradise, causing the very angels to tremble. Finally, the Almighty descended to settle the dispute. "Lilith," God's voice thundered across the garden, "you will submit to Adam as I have ordained." The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Every creature in paradise held its breath, waiting for Lilith's response. She stood before her creator, the one who had formed her with his own hands, and spoke words that would change the course of human history forever. "No." The single word cracked the sky. Lightning split the heavens. The earth itself groaned under the weight of such defiance. "No." God's voice carried the power of 1,000 storms. "You dare defy the will of your creator?" "You created me as Adam's equal," Lilith replied, her voice steady despite the chaos swirling around her. "To make me his subordinate now is to deny your own perfect work. If you demand I bow to one formed of the same clay, then your justice is a lie, and your love is conditional." The silence that followed was deafening. For the first time in the history of creation, God faced a being who challenged not his power but his righteousness. Chapter 4. The Price of Freedom, minutes 7 to 8. God's response came swift and terrible. If you will not accept the order I have established, then you have no place in my creation. Choose now, Lilith. Submit to Adam and remain in paradise, or maintain your rebellion and face exile. Lilith looked around the garden that had been her home, at the animals who had served her, at the trees that had sheltered her. Then she looked at Adam, who watched with desperate hope that she would choose submission over exile. I choose freedom, she said, even if it means walking through the valley of the shadow of death, even if it means facing whatever horrors await beyond your garden. I choose to be free rather than to be a slave in paradise. And with those words, Lilith spoke the true name of God, the secret name that held power over all creation. She rose into the air on wings that appeared like darkness made manifest, and flew beyond the boundaries of Eden, beyond the reach of divine authority, into the wild places where chaos still reigned. As she disappeared into the night sky, God turned to Adam and spoke words heavy with regret. It is not good for man to be alone, but perhaps it is necessary. Chapter 5. The Legacy of the First Woman, minutes 9 to 10. What happened to Lilith after her exile became the source of countless legends. Some say she became the mother of demons, breeding with the dark angels who had also rebelled against divine authority. Others claim she became the first witch, teaching humanity the secrets of magic and forbidden knowledge. But the most shocking truth of all, the one that the church spent centuries trying to hide, was this: Lilith never died. While Eve would taste the fruit of mortality, while Adam would return to dust, Lilith had achieved something that even the angels could not claim: true immortality through absolute freedom. She walks among us still, they say. In every woman who refuses to be diminished. In every voice that speaks truth to power. In every soul that chooses dignity over comfort. She is the eternal reminder that not everyone can be tamed, not everyone will bow, and not everyone accepts that their Creator knows better than they do about their own destiny. The year 2025 brought us more than just ancient texts. It brought us the revolutionary understanding that the first human to ever say no to God was not Satan, not a fallen angel, not even Adam with his famous bite of forbidden fruit. It was a woman named Lilith, who refused to be anything less than equal to the one who claimed dominion over her, and a rebellion echo through every generation, inspiring those who dare to ask the most dangerous question of all: why should I submit when I was born to be free? Epilogue. The question that changed everything. The discovery of these texts has forced theologians worldwide to confront an uncomfortable truth. What if the greatest act of faith is not submission to divine authority, but the courage to stand as an equal before God Himself? What if Lilith was not the first rebel, but the first true believer, the first being to take God seriously when He said He created humanity in His own image? The world may never be the same. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But the first thing He created that truly shocked Him was a woman who refused to bow.